during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
When I think about those nights in Montreal, all I think about is weed. Memories of city lights and packing bowls. Oh, we tried to legalize it.
Oh my goddess, that is so cool. That's the first time I saw that.
Are you? Oh, yeah, because you couldn't see the camera last
No,
week,
but
could you?
I just love what you do to that song, and then the fact that you show the a skyline of Montreal at the end of it.
That's Al. Hey, that was
That
all
okay,
Al.
way to go, Al! Like that is so
I sing,
fantastic.
I say, I sing the song, and Al does all the graphics. That was all Al.
I gotta say, it's a beautiful merge. What you both did, like he totally. I don't know. Did he do like graphic arts or production as a thing? Because it's
Al
obviously
was
a
a pretty,
natural
yeah.
at it.
Well, Al worked for Treating Yourself magazine. He's a writer too. Besides, he
Oh,
did a bunch of
cool!
graphics,
Very cool!
and
Very
then
cool!
prior to,
Yeah.
he did magazines with cars and
Oh,
that kind of
very.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
So,
that's why he really
good
has
evening.
that.
Yeah, we should probably just start the show with good evening and welcome to CannaQuebec
Oh
Connection.
yes, and thank you, Al.
And we're coming to you from the Tanaha territory here in southern British Columbia, and you're in
The
Montreal.
Keha, I'm the Mohawk
Kaniaka?
territory.
Yeah.
Keha, the Mohawk territory, and there are others, and it is unceded territory for sure. So happy to be hooking up again once a week, but we're going to be going on a break. Is that because
Yeah.
it's
This is
holiday time?
That's right. This is our last show before the new year. So we're going on a Christmas break. So this is our last show before the new year. I think we're gonna do a year roundup. I'm not sure. I'll mention that, but I'm not sure when and what the dates are on that yet. I'm sure he'll let us know closer to the new year. It'll probably be like New Year's Day, I would think, maybe.
Like do like the top stories of the
Yeah,
top
usually,
cannabis.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
great
We usually
idea.
do that.
That's a
Pace
very
usually
good
does that
idea.
once a year at the end of the year. We usually gather together, all of us hosts from the Pace radio network, and do a year roundup of all our shows and what our most memorable moments were for our shows. And this will be the first year that I really haven't done cannabis and coffee with marijuana. Like I kind of put that on hiatus and really haven't done any shows in 2021 for cannabis and coffee. We started CannaQuebec Connection, and to be fair, like I said, without having guests and having people that are willing, it's not even willing, people that are actually doing something in the cannabis community that's not legal, where they can actually talk about it. So I
Yeah.
think that's, and that'll kind of lead us into our first topic for tonight, which is legal cannabis, and how it's how the access has become, how the quality has become, how the taxation is, and we've talked about this in prior, shows too about, where's the tax money, where the heck's the tax money
Yeah,
going,
we'd love for the liberals,
and
to promote it. Like, why,
right.
like, I feel like sometimes they don't talk about it because they know, like, I feel like they just got to know that they
I think they've got way too much
owe
going on.
people
This is
something.
my take on it, Loretta. To be fair, we had the apology for the military today. So when they went into this new, minority government that we just elected, and they got in, caucus just started November 1st. We're only into the 13th of December. They've had a month and 2 weeks, and in the interim, they've passed the legislation for conversion therapy. They've now apologized to the military. He had to appoint a whole new, cabinet. To be fair, they've got so much going on that
I
they
get
wanted
it.
to get,
I get it. It's look at it for me. It's been 30 years,
I know,
okay, and
I know,
legalization. I get it. Has only been like I don't. What
three,
is it? 3 years.
3 years. Yep.
So but we had like there was a lot leading up. Like it took like it was announced, and then it took 2 years. Like it's been years and years and years and years. It seems okay, but I get it. Some of us are like way ahead. And the government's got to catch up perhaps, but it's pretty obvious like at some point people are going to say, look, how many billions are you going to be making off cannabis before you acknowledge like why your pardon program sucks, that you did really like people can't even get jobs in the cannabis industry who have a cannabis record, like, that you have to make some restitution, like they have, like in California, to those who, you sent to jail for the plant you're now getting, all this money from. Like, and so they need to promote, yes, where the money's going. I think that's like really key. Like, it's great. The Liberals announced a daycare program. I think they signed the deal with Nova Scotia
New
today.
Brunswick. No,
Oh,
New
New
Brunswick. They'd already
Brunswick. I
signed with
mean,
you.
yes, all
And
of
New
that is
Brunswick was a holdout.
fantastic.
And New Brunswick was a holdout because Higgs doesn't really like Trudeau. Like, he hasn't made any bones about it, right? So New Brunswick was kind of holding out on the $10 a day daycare. But when after Kenny signed, it was like, oh
How
God.
can you not want it for your province and for your kids?
Because then he's
I
got to
mean,
cave in and say that what the feds are doing is not a bad thing. And let's talk about Ontario here for a minute with Krista Hillier and the premier's fucking douchebag daughter. Okay, I was going to try and keep this on topic with
Okay,
with,
wait a minute, that's a little bit harsh.
with just cannabis today, but let's be clear here. Like, do we have nutbags or us?
Okay, you're being a little harsh. You're being a little harsh, but
On who? Who am I being harsh on? Doug Ford for raising that thing?
His daughter. But
oh my God, I'm not being. Have
you
seen her? Have you seen her sweaty TikTok where she's sweating on her bike? Oh, my poor husband. He's a Toronto City police officer, and he's gonna lose his job because he's not gonna get a job. And she's crying on her exercise bike, sweating and crying. What was that? Like, seriously, what was that? And this is what she's doing. And he's a Toronto City police officer that's refusing to get vaccinated. So they fucking let him go without pay. Yeah. She was suspended without pay. And she's sweating on her bike.
He deals with the front line of vulnerable people. Like, this is what is so
okay, we're just, like I said, I don't want to get on the topic of vaccines and all this shit again, but please.
Okay, you're right. Let's not, because as if we're not crazy enough. The anti-bees have made us crazy. And they're taking the world.
You know what I'm finding out? I'm finding that it doesn't matter because everybody thinks they know more than scientists. I'm done arguing.
That's the cognitive
but here's the thing, okay? to a point, as cannabis activists, the government had lied to us about medical benefits for cannabis, and they lied to us about the laws, and they shoved the cannabis, devil's lettuce. It's a devil's lettuce down our, and we all knew better.
Sure. No, for sure. This is
we all knew better.
Product of the war on drugs. Absolutely.
But let's be clear here: the government has lied to us about the opioid crisis. It's deadly. It's killing people. Yeah. There's poison in those drugs, and that's what's going on. So to be clear, they haven't lied to anybody about the drug crisis in our country. They have not. They aren't fudging numbers about how many people are dying from overdoses or drug poisonings in our country.
No, it's like,
and they're not the ones handing out the shitty drugs.
They're definitely talking about it differently. Thank fucking God already. But a lot of this, is all connected. And if, the drug war has been going on for 60 years. And so many people,
honey, it's been going on for 70 years. You've missed a decade.
But hardcore. Like, I remember when things changed because I was like a little toker in the 70s, and then I didn't know anybody.
Jimmy Carter was trying, and Chrétien were trying to legalize.
Well,
in the 70s,
1980, Reagan. 1979, Nixon, Reagan. They started talking about the war on drugs, and it was
Nixon. Nixon and then
1980.
But here it was. You had Jimmy Carter in the middle of there, where Carter was going to legalize, and then you got Reagan. So it went from Carter to Reagan, and that's when all hell fucking fell down.
No. It went. You're right. It went from Carter to Reagan. You're right. Yeah. Yes.
And Carter and Chrétien.
You got a good mind for politics, there, girlfriend.
Because of Carter.
Carter was a good dude.
Carter wanted to decriminalize marijuana.
Yes.
Because he didn't believe the racist bullshit that fucking Eisenhower and fucking Hoover were trying to fucking shove down everybody's throat.
Willie Nelson,
because he was a young man. Jimmy Carter was a young man when all that reefer madness was going on in the South. Right. And he's like, the fuck are you people on?
I know.
So Carter was actually like very progressive. And he came, and was looking at, so was Chrétien too, not about the same time. And then you had Nancy Reagan because their daughter died, or their daughter OD'd on heroin. Well, you just wrapped everything on. Can you remember this is your brain on drugs? Do you remember the eggs in the frying pan and the fucking ridiculous fucking propaganda they fucking fed us about
Oh
drugs?
my, well, yeah, that was the worst of it. There's no question. There was a lot of
You know,
people. There was a lot of people dying. A lot of celebrity sons. Paul Newman's son died like of drug overdoses, and so they really
Connor
like she
O'Connor,
got.
Carol O'Connor's son died of an overdose too, like Archie Bunker. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's
So
a whole whap of them.
so they, you know,
Belushi
they
dying of fucking an overdose,
yeah,
fucking John
yeah,
Lennon
no,
being
for
fucking
sure.
shot by a drug addict. There was all these, but back then it was
You know what?
TNRs and it was speed and it was heroin.
If
And
human beings, you know, in some way like 500 years ago had access to some kind of, you know, herbal drug, psychedelic, whatever, there would always be, you know, a proportion of them that would abuse it. Like
if
this
they
is
wouldn't
just
have
human
demonized
nature.
cannabis, I think people would have smoked cannabis and stayed away from the harder drugs if they wouldn't have wrapped cannabis in with it and demonized it the way they did.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, to
yeah,
be
no,
fair,
for sure,
because they
100%.
and that was all because they saw brown and black people making money off and growing, being able to grow it like cotton. And let's be fair, hemp was actually legal before the cotton plantations started because rope and hemp clothing would have lasted longer than cotton. It wasn't sustainable. You couldn't get rich off hemp because hemp lasted too long.
Right,
Cotton, you could make clothes and rope and everything, and it deteriorated. So it had to be
right, right.
remade and remade and remade. So this wasn't actually, I don't think, to be realistically about the whole fact of cannabis being a psychedelic and it was going to rot your brain. I think it had everything to do with big corporations again
Yeah,
taking over
yeah,
the
yeah.
facts,
No,
right?
there's no question that was like big time behind it.
So
And
so again, you have all this propaganda coming out of fucking corrupt
oh yeah,
bullshit.
no, look at like over the decades, like each decade had like, you know, and then meanwhile, and you know, now it's like even common knowledge because it's like in documentaries that are pretty mainstream about, you know, how Reagan and Bush like they fueled the drug war and they like, you know, because they wanted to get money,
Well, then there was
they
a
were
crack
like such a
epidemic
part
in
of
the
the whole
80s too, right?
cocaine thing. Oh, you know, like so. I mean, the whole thing is like a joke and a farce, and it's just
So
like it's
so
disgusting.
that's where I understand the hesitancy with
Yes,
people when it comes to vaccines. But
yes,
but
me
again,
too, for
you're
sure.
talking about scientists, and we've had
Yeah,
scientists on our side about cannabis and politicians too. So this, and we've got politicians that are, you know, basically, and scientists that are all on one side of this. Then you got the handful of doctors and nurses that are saying blah
sure.
blah 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 blah.
No, no,
But when
look.
it comes to cannabis, we've got doctors that were saying, and now they're like a Dr. Ethan Russo, for example. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like he started many decades ago talking about the benefits of cannabis. Now CNN's coming up on the
Oh
weekend. They've
yeah,
got a
yeah, yeah, for
big
sure.
documentary coming up about
Gupta, Dr.
autism
Gupta.
and
Yeah, no,
cannabis.
fantastic.
So
Yeah.
and we have had
No,
people,
we're
scientists,
way in a way
right?
different place. Yes. No, look at
So
there's
you can't dispute. Like I said, I understand the hesitancy with vaccine because of politicians being involved. Politicians should have never been involved. Same with cannabis. Cannabis regulation only became something because of it, because we had to change the laws because
yeah,
they had
look.
legalized and
I get the
demonized it.
connection. I get the connection of mistrust, but the problem is that so many of these anti-Vs, most of them, are lying and spreading misinformation that basically is coming from like
Yeah, I know.
white supremacist Nazi
Yeah,
trolls
well, that's the thing.
and Russian
Yeah,
trolls, and they're
yeah.
like, and they refuse because this is cognitive dissonance. They refuse, like, you know, anything that doesn't come from their like YouTube, you know, conspiracy channels. Like, so that is the real problem. That, and we're talking about a lot of people in our society. Like, I don't know, it's a big, you know, so it's a big chunk, and the war on drugs definitely caused some of this, you know, some of this
Well,
breakdown
exactly. And
in
like,
trust. Like,
I understand that.
absolutely.
And that's what has been thrown at me a few times. Well, I can't believe you fought for your freedom for smoke cannabis, but you're not right for your freedom of medical.
It's no, it's completely. This is the
And
thing.
the thing
It's
is,
I
medical
know,
freedom,
but
and the thing is, I
they
understand the
haven't
medical
smoked the
freedom,
right strains.
and I, you know, and I stood up for cannabis use for medical use. I sure did. But when I got involved with this, I couldn't have given a rat's fucking ass whether it helped me or not. I couldn't have given a rat's ass if it helped you or not, if it was medicine or not. I wanted law reform. I thought the fact that we were wasting tax dollars on policing and on a harmless drug that really there was no crime in possession. Who was the victim in possession?
Well, it's a
Decriminalization, not
plant
so much.
too. It's a
Exactly.
plant.
So for me, it was about law reform. It was about legalizing and taking the stigma away, and also getting rid of the fucking dealers on the streets. I'm not going to even sit back and say that I wasn't, even if I was one, because the fact of the matter is, not every drug dealer, right, sells
Herb
just
dealer.
herb, right? There, a lot of
Yeah,
those
I was a
dealers are
complete. I
selling
am just a
pills and all kinds of other
dealer,
stuff. But
healer
like
dealer.
again, so this brings
Woo.
back the fact that we're talking about tax dollars, right? And
Right.
and then again, where's the money? But again, we've had CRB, we've had all these extra things that have been thrown at our government. They have to come up with money somewhere. Maybe this is it. And the fiscal thing will come out tomorrow. What's her Freeland's coming out with a mini budget tomorrow. Maybe they'll mention
Yeah.
cannabis then.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's very interesting and an excellent point that you bring up. I wonder if there'll be. I'm gonna say, if I was a betting bitch, and I'm not.
I'm
I
gonna
would
say no,
I
but
would say that she's not gonna say anything, because it's sort of like,
but we
it's
have like
so hard to
again.
get these mofos to talk about
Well,
cannabis. I'm sorry I should have said mofo, because I think she's fantastic, and I think hopefully she'll be our next prime minister.
oh
And
no,
sometimes,
please no. Oh please no.
oh,
Oh please no.
stop,
No, no,
stop right
no.
there,
No,
right there.
no,
Yes.
no, no, no. I'm sorry. No,
Look,
no.
we cannot continue. Do not escalate. No, she's
I'm
fantastic.
sorry. She
She's
is
destined, and she's Ukrainian, and we
no.
need a
She's
Ukrainian
not.
goddess right now.
Okay,
Yes,
I'm going to
and
tell
she
you right
is like
now. If she
very
becomes
smart.
if she runs for leadership, I'll be becoming. I won't vote. I
Oh,
can't
I'm
stand her.
not. I'm kind of. I don't think. I can't believe you're saying that.
I said it.
You always
I've met
do,
her.
bitch.
I spent days in caucus with her.
Okay,
I
I don't.
don't.
I don't want to hear any negativity about her. She's just, to me, she's very smart, and she's going to present this budget, and no matter what, the conservatives are going to like freak out, even though they always make the economy worse. They always do, and yet yeah, I don't know. There's always been this fake belief that they're like better with the economy when they're not, because
Who's
to
better
grow
with the economy?
well, there's a fake, that it's part of their mythology that they're so much better with the economy than liberals. Like they're never better at the economy than liberals, like never. But people who have very little knowledge of
Dun
politics,
dun dun. It's
somehow
like
they've sold
Alberta's
that
sitting there
lie.
trying to blame the lack of doctors. Oh, it's been 6 or 7 years since we've had doctors. It must have been Rachel Nolte's fault. How could it have been her fault? She wasn't even in power then. It
She's
was
a woman.
Stelmach. It was
She's a
Stelmach,
woman.
or it was, but you can guarantee it was a conservative, and it wasn't the NDP. So when you guys are all bitching about the Hague Clinic and all these doctors leaving Lethbridge and all these clinics in Lethbridge and all these clinics in northern Alberta and central Alberta closing, the doctors are leaving. You can don't even thank Kenny for this. Kenny's not making it any better. But I'll tell you, this has been a decade or two long fucking problem in Alberta. And it's because they've had decades and decades of fucking conservatives and misspending and fucking, but we're going to balance the
budget. Yeah, no, I don't know.
How can you balance a budget?
Everywhere in
You
the
balance
world.
the budget off the backs of healthcare,
Sure,
education,
yeah.
and again, where the fuck is the money and where have you spent the money? See, that's what I don't understand.
That's what the conservatives do. That's what like the Republicans so obviously do when I look at the system. And it's here too. Like, conservatives have had advantages because rich people back them up. And so they always have the most resources, and that counts a lot for winning. And they somehow always convince a certain percentage of the middle class that they're better with the economy when they're not. Like, they just give to rich people, like, and corporations, and make the lower end suffer. Like, that's what they do time and time again. They cut education, they cut healthcare, like they're all, and then on top of it, they don't balance the budget, whatever. Like, Stephen Harper was given like the most beautiful, gift from
But he
Paul
spent the extra
Martin,
money on pandas and fake lakes. And then he
like,
lost
no,
$13 billion
just, yeah,
in a bad fucking
exactly. Like,
investment.
and
And
they
then they
had a
went in and
big
then they say,
deficit, and he was
Justin
given
Trudeau
like
lost
so much
$13 million.
extra.
No, you're forgetting it was
Yeah.
Stephen Harper that lost that $13 million in a bad investment prior to Justin Trudeau being prime minister. But they go to throw that in there. And then they, like I said, you know where the extra money went? Fake lakes and fucking pandas. Oh, and Laureline getting a new kitchen.
Well, I'm just, no wonder people have such mistrust issues.
Okay,
I mean,
so I
what?
have,
Okay, speaking of
and I'm one of
politics,
them,
though.
and I'm one of them. Okay, I've got fucking informed consent. I've got a huge fucking speculation about anything happened with government, right?
Yeah.
So for me to say, okay, I'm kind of thinking this COVID thing might be real and people are dying. Maybe this isn't a conspiracy theory. Maybe this is something that we need to be concerned about. Maybe if I'm concerned about it because I'm a fairly intelligent person, and if I thought that my rights were being fucking taken, violated in any way, that I'd be the first nutbag standing out in the fucking front of City Hall screaming about it. You all know I am. Like, seriously, who's the first nutbag fucking walking to fucking stop Harper signs all over the fucking place? Like, seriously.
Out there,
that's why I just can't quite comprehend anybody that comes at me and says, you're a sheep. I'm a sheep? Okay.
Yeah.
Bah.
Yeah, no, I know.
Because I'm definitely not. And that's
but here's what
so when they're all doing their fucking Google research, do you think that there's peer-reviewed fucking studies and all kinds of shit? And I'm a little more intelligent than that.
The good news is like they are as disorganized as because it's like a narcissistic ego.
Did you hear?
Thing.
We've got a few minutes. You have to hear this. So Chris Sky again, went to the West Edmonton Mall, got himself arrested dressed up as Santa Claus. Okay, that was last weekend.
Okay.
Wait, it gets better. So he decided that he was gonna go out and fucking do another toy drive at a toy store in Stony Plains. And the toy store got a hold of this because he was running around telling everybody that they were on board for this because he lied to them, told me he was going to go do a toy drive. And they shut their store. The bad part about it, though, is everybody's giving them bad reviews. So now it's kind of like with the Chapman's ice cream, where they tried boycotting the Chapman's ice cream and Chapman's, shares just tripled and everybody's buying Chapman's ice cream, including me when I've never bought Chapman's before in my life, ever. I was like, oh, there's Chapman's ice cream. I was at Save on Foods the other day. No intention of buying ice cream. Saw Chapman's ice cream. Oh, shortbread flavored too. Right on. I can't even eat fucking ice cream. I got colitis. But I'll tell you, I bought that fucking ice cream.
Good for you. Do what you want.
Right? Fuck that, man. Well, thanks for watching, JR. I'm glad I'm entertaining somebody. JR goes, oh, you're entertaining. I'm good. I'm glad. At least I got somebody watching. But yeah, like truly, it just kind of floors me that they just don't. Like I said, if I thought in any way, you too. Again, who were the two biggest loudmouths out there? You and I, right? When it came to a lot of things, Kelly. Fuck, a lot of the people that were the biggest loudmouths out there, guess what? We all got jabbed. So the ones that think they were the biggest loudmouths out there, they're standing up for your freedoms. You look like a fucking fool. Just saying. Just saying.
Well,
you look like a fool.
It's keeping the pandemic going. Everybody should want it to end, but they're gonna like fill up the hospitals because that's what they've been doing. And
apparently, we have 14 here already because I had a friend of mine that has a friend that is an RN nurse or RN in the ICU here in Cranbrook, and we have 8 beds. They're all full of COVID.
Yeah,
there's 14 COVID patients up there,
crazy.
And we got 8 beds.
Our numbers are like around 2,000 in Quebec, which is terrible.
Oh, I had one in my inbox the other day because I laughed at her comment. So she had the fucking balls. And this is this care aide that quit her job here in town. Okay. Because she would refuse to get vaccinated. She's a fucking care aide. Okay. Not a nurse, not an LPN. She was a fucking care aide. And I laughed at her comment because she was going on about how the poor people at Joseph's Creek were losing staff because of the mandate. So I just laughed. I put a laughing emoji on it. That's all I did. She comes into my inbox and tells me I'm a shitty human being for laughing. I said I wasn't laughing at the misfortune of the old folks. My grandmother was there. Thanks for fucking coming out, bitch. I'm laughing at your fucking misinformation. And then she told me that I should mind my business and keep my nose out of where it didn't belong. I promptly blocked her, but I took screenshots, and I've got all kinds of fucking blithering shit over her page. She's great content for TikTok. She's next on my list, and she's local.
Well,
Watch out, baby! I'm coming for you because I'm not kidding you. I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm just gonna keep outing them on TikTok. If it's not doxing, it's public information. You put your shit out on Facebook. You put all your information out on Facebook. I can take it and fucking screenshot it and fucking put it all over my fucking TikTok.
yeah.
And guess what? I have almost 1,000 fucking followers
There
now,
you go.
and I have over
Maybe they're
500 or
hungry for this
600
kind of
views
thing.
a day. So when you're going viral there, twat face on TikTok.
Why I call you Wild Tea. So, Wild Tea, it was a momentous day because it seemed like there was some genuine apologies towards women in the military for the,
Yeah.
the horrendous, like I was saying to you before we started, it's like all those women who joined the police force, fire department, military in the 70s were the first ones. They were just like, they were just like sacrificed.
Well,
They were
I
like
kind of
going
I
to the
kind of have this
slaughter.
problem, not with the military per se, but with the fact that they kiosk because of this. Remember when we had that group of military guys that were fighting for medical pot, and then they did the whole rundown, and they were paying whatever prescription the soldiers wanted. They gave the soldier a DIN number. The DIN number went in, and they were paying for all their medical
What happened
cannabis.
with that? Where's that at right now? Because I thought like
They
the
fucking cut
government
it back
broke it
because the
back.
government the
Yeah,
government realized that they were spending fucking like
a lot
millions
of
of
money.
dollars on cannabis for soldiers. So they cut it back to maximum 3 to 5 grams a day. Where do you think the doctors got their fucking cap from? It was because these military guys expected to have all their cannabis paid for them, and they were fucking spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on grow equipment and everything else for veterans and military. And I'm not saying these guys don't deserve it. I'm not
No,
disputing
listen,
that.
I was going to the Legion and I was going to these dinners and I was like having some talks and I was recommending they all ask for 10 grams a day. And
They
that's what,
did. They did. But then the
and
government
that's
went
what
and
they
did
were
one of those.
getting.
But then it was a conservative government. It was Stephen Harper's government again, okay,
Yeah,
that went ahead and did the whole rundown of how much it cost the government. And the
right.
government realized it was costing them hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to supply military fucking veterans, and because they couldn't use
No,
it.
they deserve it.
I'm
They
not
deserve what
disputing
they
that.
need.
But when they realized how much money they were spending is when
They
they put
freaked
that
out.
fucking cap on it.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
when the doctors were fucking
But
put
I
at
thought
that
they were
cap too.
fighting it. I thought that was being fought, even
Where?
though
Where are all these where are all these challenges in court that people fucking blither on about? Where are they?
I
Where's
don't
the
know.
where's the lawsuit for origami? Where's the fucking lawsuit with our privacy breach? Where the fuck that was 10 years ago, that privacy breach where our fucking
I thought
our
we were getting
addresses were
money.
all fucking sent
Are we
out and
getting
whatever.
money?
Where's that?
I don't know. That's
Apparently, if
okay.
you were a patient of Metrum, you got a fucking check for $67 for their lawsuit last Friday.
Oh my god!
And that was a Metrum lawsuit where there was only so many fucking
That was
patients.
it. $67.
$67.
Oh man! Oh man! That's pretty sad. Do we need
Right?
to take a commercial break?
Now we got a couple more minutes, but
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
just.
Good point. Good point. It's
But I mean, where are all these challenges for
I don't know.
vaping
It's a
and
great
and
question.
vaccines and everything that they put in fucking for human rights and vaccines or anything in this province since COVID? The judges have thrown them all out.
Well,
In Alberta, they
the
got
other thing
fines.
is,
They aren't throwing the fines out. They're fucking making these asshats pay them. So for all these people that were spewing 2 years ago about our constitutional rights and they're gonna go and take it to court, it's 2 years later, and guess what? Fuckface, they're gone. They threw them out. What are you gonna say? Oh, all the judges are corrupt. They're all in on this conspiracy. Fuck, who knows what them fucking QAnon fucking wingnuts would come up with. I ended up on the wrong side of fucking TikTok, let me tell you. Those people are fucking crazy. They really are. You can't even mention cannabis on TikTok or they'll fucking shut you down.
wow.
I can't even show my plants. You can't smoke on it. They will fucking ban you. They will ban you. They will cut you off. They will fucking like that. I was gonna go live tonight, put us on live, and I'm thinking so I went and tried to upload a fucking preview of this. I don't think it's still uploaded yet because I had my pot shirt on.
Right.
And I don't think they're going to let me put it up without blocking me. They'll probably block me. Oh, see, I've probably been blocked already. Okay, we'll take a quick break now. And we'll be right back. You've been listening to us. I was going to say live on paceradio.net, but we're not on paceradio.net anymore. You're watching us live on CannaQuebec Connection, the Pace Radio YouTube channel, and the Pace Radio Network on Facebook. We'll be right back. Listen to us after a special little stint from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network.
We're still on,
here
though,
at
right?
paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more. We've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
The People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network, found at paceradio.net, provides its listeners with news, information, and a place to be heard. This is done through our 5 weekly live video and audio broadcasts that cover cannabis and psychedelic news, plus those we interview. We get started Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Reefer Reporters. Then at 9 p.m. we're live with CannaQuebec. Tuesday brings you Open Your Eye or the Psychedelic Reporters at 7 p.m. Wednesday at 8, we are live with the Pace Radio Show. But we're not done yet, because on Thursday, the Reefer Reporters return with another Reefer Report. Meanwhile, once a month, Thursdays bring you the Grassroots Advocate, the Pace Radio Network's audio magazine. All these shows, plus more, are found right here on paceradio.net.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
What is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network? It's a network of people advocating cannabis education.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888. And grow on with CP.
Who has huge buds? You do. If you shop at BMA Hydroponics, attend one of BMA's educational seminars and learn the secrets of growing, harvesting, processing, and consuming quality cannabis and cannabis products. Learn how to make better extracts, edibles, and medicinal creams at prices you can afford. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive, Belleville, or call 613-967-9888. The only way to go.
We are People Advocating Cannabis Education here at paceradio.net.
And we're back.
Woo!
Were you able to see that this time and hear
I
that?
was watching, and it was, I mean, I think there's a lot of really interesting.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. No, he's done a great job. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
It's like very interesting.
Yeah. No. So yeah, so the commercials are all planned, and it's really great.
We should actually maybe say to people, look, if you want to put your commercial
We do.
be
We
part of
have a
it.
sponsor. We have a sponsorship package that I will put together for anybody who wants to get in touch with Al. Graham would probably be easier than getting a hold of either one of us. And Al does. He's got a sponsorship package all set up where, and I'm not gonna say it's not hugely expensive, but these are the businesses that are running and are sponsoring us. So we want to thank them because we appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And I'm also wearing like a Harvest Fest shirt tonight. So I'm they're not. I'm not sure what they're doing, and I got this is Canadian lumber on the sleeves too. So we got some
You know what
people
my
that
shirt says? I'm all peace and love, and go fuck yourself.
fuck yourself. That's me too, man. I'm all peace and love and go fuck
but
yourself.
I'm also go fuck yourself.
Well, I think you have to have a little, especially in this day and age, you have to have a little go fuck yourself. Because like you know what, like there was a point made today on the news that somebody says, if you're walking into a store and you've got small children and you see people walking around without masks, you're holding your children closer. And that's what people are noticing, that mothers are holding their children closer to them because you have some nut running around without a mask on. And these people are unhinged. And you'll see parents like coming in between their kids and these people.
I know.
And that was something that was pointed out today, both on our Canadian network and you know what I mean? Like it just.
Yeah, no, the boundaries,
right?
like bad, like it's a lot of mental illness too, but people are on edge, and people are, the pandemic's had a very troubling psychological effect on everybody. I'm on the metro, and I read there was an article I posted the other day about how Montreal is like they're going to spend like $1 million or $1 billion on like trying to get people back on the metro. And the reason why people don't take the metro is because it's like being in the fucking, COVID petri dish. And it just, like, because there's no ventilation, the new buses have no ventilation. I was like, I was obsessed with complaining about this, but so it's basically the poor people and other students. Like,
right?
The metro still can be busy, but a lot of people have opted for. I noticed a ton of electric bikes. That was one thing. Also, people
I think somebody
like
was
rent
suggesting
cars.
that too, right? But in the wintertime, you can't like. Pretty hard to scooter and walk even. Like even here right now, like the temperature is dropping.
Oh, it's gonna be.
We have snow. It's like mine. I don't even know. It was snowing when I went to get Taven something to eat earlier, and I'm not sure what the temperature is now. But I think but I know the temperature was supposed to drop. It's only -2 and it's snowing, so it's not really cold.
People
But I
can
mean,
rent cars here really cheap. There's this like calming auto kind of thing. But my friend was telling me she was doing it a lot before she left a few weeks ago because she lives half the year in Costa Rica, half here. And she was saying like it was getting harder and harder. Like, so there's a lot of traffic because people who maybe, so because like, yeah, no. And so, but I'm always like yesterday when I was on it, I encountered 3 dudes who were kind of crazy, not wearing a mask. They're all coughing their fucking heads off. You know what I mean? Like, and they're just like, they're not well. So like, I don't want to say like, but it's still like they. I don't know.
we're giving. What are they going to come up with? What are they going to come up with next? The new mental health disease is now called asshole. Like,
well, no, it's
like what are they going to come up with? No. Like here's your new mental health disease. It's called asshole. It's COVID related.
No, look you're proving my point that everyone's more intolerant because everybody's fucked up.
But I mean, seriously, like there are like I will give consensus. There's a lot of people with BPD and all kinds of mental health issues, ADHD, all kinds of schizophrenia. But seriously, they cannot. There's bad behavior is bad behavior. There's not a fucking mental health disorder for asshole, and that's just straight up what they are.
Sure. No, but these guys, I would say, they're street. They're not well, and they don't care about people. Like
no, they've got no empathy. They've got no compassion.
Maybe
they've got egos. They're a bunch of bobbleheads.
No.
And it could be what fetal alcohol syndrome. What are you gonna? What bad behavior? What tag are they gonna get to fucking?
I'm just talking about the 3 that I encountered yesterday. I've encountered so many. I've counted the assholes. Trust me, but not these 3. but I've encountered the assholes. I get and like obnoxious and laughing and thinking it's funny and like and yeah, they're sociopaths. Those are the ones I'm calling sociopaths. But there's a spectrum
But
and there's
again, there's another fucking mental health fucking disorder added to it to give them a fucking pass for their bad behavior. Oh, they're sociopaths.
well,
Don't mind them
no,
here.
look,
Maybe we can
sociopaths
throw
never
some
admit
pills at them.
that they're
Like,
sociopaths. I mean,
well,
the
what's
good
the
ones
cure
do.
for sociopath?
I don't know, like they should be put in like I don't know cannabis. Like, tanks.
I thought cannabis was supposed to be the cure for sociopaths.
Well, it's supposed to help.
I
with
thought
empathy,
cannabis was
but
supposed to make us
no,
all
no,
peace
there's-
and love and go fuck
No,
yourself.
it's not work. It's just, I don't know. Like, you know what? It was maybe it was crazy to think that it would have to take a few generations because no, COVID is making people crazy, but a lot of those selfish folks are the ones dying and getting sick. Not all, but a lot of like most of them now. So I don't know. The world's
They had their first,
the
first death of Omicron in the UK already. So, but again, like I said, here we are. We've been fighting for 30 years for peace, love, and marijuana. Marijuana is going to save the world.
I don't know. Okay, no, look at you.
Everybody's
right.
going to use marijuana.
And it ain't working good enough. It's true.
Okay, but that was going to be the cure for everything, right? Hemp is going to save the world.
Well,
marijuana, everybody just needs to smoke a joint and chill out.
Come on,
people do not smoke
hemp is
joints
going to have
and
a huge impact on the world, and it already is. Like, it's definitely making huge changes. So hemp is an amazing thing, and cannabis too. Like cannabis, like you said, it's on Sanjay Gupta and autism, and the mother in that commercial for it says like, I thought this was one of the most beautiful things, and it really does say something about cannabis as medicine. She said it helps her son become more of who he's meant to be. I mean, that's a very profound statement, right? Because he's obviously, I guess he's a teenager. He looked young, and he's becoming a man, but also just in the way cannabis does affect the brain and help the brain and not for everyone, but for some with some conditions, so
Cheryl,
is like powerful.
Cheryl keeps with Haley too. But Haley also has to inhale it. She also has like nasal spray that they've come up with, a cannabis nasal spray that Cheryl's made for her seizures and stuff. And I'm not disputing that it's got medical benefits. I'm not disputing that oregano oil doesn't have therapeutic. I'm not going to say medical because they're not pharmaceutical. It's a different. But I said this right from the get-go too. Once you put the RX label on cannabis, it's going to make things a whole different ballgame. And they've admitted straight up that they've got no way of being able to test all this stuff because it's still listed on the CDSA as an illicit drug. So even though it's legal here in Canada for recreational purposes, it's still not unlisted off the CDSA. So they legally cannot test it. So there's no testing. All these tests that are being done is for THC levels, and it's for CBD levels, and it's for terpene levels. They're actually putting the terpene percentage on the labels now, and it's safe because they have to test for pesticides and all that other stuff, mold and all that. So apparently, all these tests are being done. But when it comes to testing for the medical benefits or derivatives from cannabis for epilepsy, that's not being done.
Right.
Those studies are not being done.
But
so like I said,
they will eventually, because it is like the changes are happening. Look, even in Dubai, a Muslim country where they would send you directly to jail for having cannabis, has just like said they're gonna not jail people with cannabis on them anymore when they get off the plane in Dubai. Like, it's changing.
Well, not because they want the tourists.
I get it, but I'm just saying that the changes are coming. Like, so they will, like, at some point, like, I get it that we overstated, look, I thought it could like create peace in the world, like it could help with violence, and it does, but it was unrealistic to think like it could like help enough for like, us going through the pandemic and, realizing like a lot of stoners are anti-vaxxers. And that's disappointing, but I get it. Like I say, the war on drugs.
Like I said, I understand. I understand the skepticism. But when science are talking over and over, when scientists are talking over the politicians, when you have doctors and nurses and experts and scientists talking over the politicians,
Well, now
I'm
it's like,
sorry.
who's
I'm
in
not
the
listening to the
hospital and
fucking
who's
politicians.
dying?
I'm not listening to
Yeah.
because you know what they keep like I said, Scott Moe the other day is like, oh, we gotta quit stigmatizing the people that don't have fucking vaccine. We gotta be nice to them. What are you fucking talking about, Scott Moe? You fucking Moe? Why be nice to people that didn't want to be nice to us to begin with? If they would have been nice people, they would have got vaccine. They don't give a fuck. So you want me to be nice to these people now? You don't want us to stigmatize them?
But I saw today on St. Catherine's, love over fear, no vax passports. Like, and, so there's a lot of different tactics. And again, this maybe sounds crazy, but it all feeds into, the way Putin operates. Like, they really
Right?
work at creating
Yeah,
chaos in the
they
West. It's like their
absolutely
big
do.
agenda.
Yeah.
And this is like,
And in the
this is
meantime, they're
like,
fucking backdooring and fucking gonna go and invade fucking the Ukraine.
yeah,
Well, all
no,
these
look, it's
fucking
all bad.
asshats
It's a
over here fighting
distraction.
over a mask.
No,
And
it's
that's,
a
I think, what pisses me
distraction.
off. We've
It
got
is.
all this stuff that's going
Yeah.
on. Myanmar, for example, nobody's paying attention to Myanmar anymore because all of a sudden everybody's too worried about a goddamn vaccine and a fucking mask on their face.
Yeah.
What about what's going on in fucking China with the Uyghurs?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All of a sudden they were talking about that. Then all of a sudden COVID fucking happened. Oh, distraction from fucking the human rights fucking violations that are going on in fucking northern China. Like, please. Like, don't even talk to me about what's going to happen in the Ukraine with Russia as they're fucking backdooring them and fucking what China's planning on doing in Taiwan. Never mind, North Korea's been awfully fucking quiet lately. So let's just put all the fucking shit aside here as we're all fighting over fucking cocksucking vaccines and who's right and who's wrong over a mask.
Cocksucking vaccines. A way to like turn off, the lesbian community, bitch.
Yeah, there's no, yeah. JR just asked us if cannabis was good for autism. And I will say, depending on the chart, depending on the person.
Watch CNN because look, Sanjay Gupta is a trusted doctor. He does appeal like to people around the world who are young, like, and who are old. Like he does have this amazing sphere of influence.
He knows
and
he watches CNN
it's definitely gonna be worthwhile watching. So yes, it seems to help people with autism, and I would say being in the cannabis community, there's a lot of people. I
think it's on tomorrow, Sunday night. It's on. I think it's on coming up Sunday night.
You're right.
Sunday night, I think at 9 o'clock
Definitely
on
worth
CNN.
watching.
Yeah. But it's on CNN, and it's coming up this Sunday night. So
I mean,
definitely something to watch
know
on.
that it can't, look, because the world is in such a bad way. So yeah, of course, cannabis can't save the world, and look, you and I have like great access to it compared to most people in the world. Like I talked to a young man the other day who is from North Africa, and he said if you get caught with one joint there, you go to jail for a year, and you have to pay off the police. So it's still like ruining.
Well, here's my question for these people that are for your friend there. Who's growing it over there, and how are they getting it there? Like, is it being smuggled in? Do they actually have people that grow it there? Because I know I know that just from what I've heard in Australia, they don't have really good cannabis in Australia either, because they've got people that do grow it, but they have to grow it like it's very illegal still too. I mean, they've legalized it for some medical. But Murray's my friend Murray that lives down in Nimbin there, he's buying it from the government, and it's being grown in Canada, I think. But they've got
some of our weed. I remember reading.
Yeah,
that's cool.
But they're also, I think, started a licensed production over there too.
I thought there was like sativa trees that grew 40 feet there, full of cannabis. Like I'm surprised that.
Maybe, but never.
No, like have I ever heard of any Australian strains? Not that I'm up on strains, but no, I haven't.
There apparently was one called Flow.
Poison from South Africa. But I'm
South Africa's not Australia though. It's totally.
I know, but I'm saying I've never heard of like strains out of Australia. Have you?
Flow is the only one that I've ever heard, and there's a couple other ones that I know that there is some that is grown there, but it's not great.
Is it the soil?
What I'm told.
Like, what is it? because
just
they're
the
definitely growing
inability.
outdoors, like for
It
sure.
is all grown outdoors. I think.
Has to
I'm
be.
not sure. I
Is it
really,
like because they're
to be
close
fair,
to the
don't know.
equator, or like, I don't know how these things
Could be
work.
that it's too hot. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Because they do like heat, but they don't
yeah.
either, right? Like,
Oh,
well,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Good point. Good
you
point.
don't want to get
Trees
them too
too.
hot. They like the heat, but they don't
Yeah,
like the heat.
yeah. Because I don't know what the
They don't
trees
like
look like.
sand. They don't like want to be grown in sand. They like to
Yeah.
have a dark, deep. I mean, sure you
Hmm.
can grow them in cocoa and all kinds of other, in lava too. But if you don't have access to a lot of water,
Right. Right.
so I'm not sure. Like I said,
No, you got a good point. I don't know why, but I'm sure I've seen like, and I imagine that they could grow like sativas, would maybe be easy to grow there. I don't, I just don't know. I don't know. I know that they have that Nimbin kind of, it's a
yeah,
hippie hangout
yeah,
place like once a
that's where my
year.
friends are from. We brought them over
Yeah.
here for Cooney
And
Cup.
that's like, but that's
Yeah,
a unique thing there. And other than that, like that's the thing. Canada does have a vibrant cannabis community
we did have.
across the country.
We did have.
Well, it's still
We did
there.
have, and then so that'll bring us around to the last topic that'll finish off the show and our last show for the year. All the
What's that?
cannabis lounges that were
Yeah,
shut down in Vancouver, that were shut down, and like the Amsterdam. I don't
mostly
know
in
if the Amsterdam
Ontario.
Cafe is still there, but Vapor Central is no longer in Toronto.
No, that one was really like a legacy maker for sure.
Right. So, how many of the
Yeah,
vapor lounges were shut down because of bylaws that were put in because of
like
the non-smoking, the
but a
non-vaping
lot of them.
bylaws?
My impression was okay because I definitely roamed around them and in the underground scene, and people made the most of it. You could really see products developing over the years. It was amazing. That was all medical cannabis, pushing that, making that happen. And I think some closed even before legalization, like the one in Kingston. And that was really like, that was such an impressive one. That was, I don't know why it closed. I never really got a good answer, but that was unfortunate because that seems so cool because Kingston's such a police town, military town, whatever. So I mean, but I also like people didn't seem to have the, they didn't, they closed because they just were I felt like they were in this wait and see mode, and I didn't see much organization of lobbying or anything like so. And also, because criminalization also took its toll. And then there was like some of these folks who were like, they were defying, like, that famous cafe down a harbor front was like,
Well, it looks like
had
the
cement
Amsterdam
block
Cafe
and
in
all of
downtown
this.
Vancouver is still open.
So like there was like these weird stories going on in Toronto for sure. But I think it's time to like try and encourage
Well, you know
people
what? I just
to
checked.
talk about
The
lounges.
Amsterdam Cafe is still open in Vancouver, which is a vape lounge in Vancouver. So
Oh,
they're still open in Vancouver, the vape lounges.
that's cool.
It looks like the Amsterdam's open. I'm not sure like if they're
I think in
smoking in there.
Toronto, Planet Paradise is still open. And people smoke there. So it's like I say, there's these rebel holdouts,
This has been
and
the first. This is the first cafe in Vancouver, well, long before cannabis culture or any of them.
yeah.
It's a head
And what's it
store and a
called? The
restaurant.
Oxerdam, or what's it called?
Amsterdam. No, it's called the
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam
Okay.
Cafe. Yeah, the new Amsterdam Cafe. I've been in there a couple times when I was in Vancouver.
Down the east side, or
Yeah, it's right
Mhm.
right next door to Cannabis Culture. Actually,
Okay.
it's on the pot block.
Mhm. I think I've been there actually, long time ago though.
I'm just
Maybe
wondering.
15,
They also
maybe
serve.
like
They're also
18 years
serving
ago.
food and stuff, which they always did. They have drinks, coffee,
Wow.
that kind of stuff. I don't think they sell cannabis. Pretty sure they don't. Bongs.
You know what? It's going to start, and because they're doing it in Colorado, which is where dispensaries took off. So the governments here are going to like trust me. Like once someone has like a little successful model, it's all going to come. The government's going to want to make
Well,
money
it's like
off of it.
Dana has
But
the
we need to
Coca
have our
Cafe.
model for recovery from the drug war, to have programs that test drugs to save lives. Like we need a we need a community-based model.
Cannabis
And I think
Culture
we should
Lounge is
ask
still
for it
open
as
too.
like a government goddamn program because we deserve it. You know what I
I
mean? Where
don't.
people are hired who have, who went to jail for cannabis, like, and, people who have been adversely impacted by the drug war. We need to get something out of like, you know, they like stood on our shoulders to make legalization happen, and basically no, they can't just do it this colonialist way because we're decolonializing, right? So they got to get the next part of legalization. They got to do better than the first part on addressing the historical abuse of marginalized, racialized, low income, people with drug addictions, like.
Well, Cannabis Culture looks like they're still open too for a lounge.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, there's a smattering of them, but I do think
But
it's
again, it's
like,
not something that we can just walk into the fucking city hall and say, "Hey, I want a license for this."
well, at some point they're gonna want to issue them because they're gonna want to make money. And I'll tell you, I'm like, I avoid getting on the metro, so I'll walk a lot in Montreal. But so I've been walking a lot downtown looking after my friend's cat. And there's so many restaurants that have closed. You know what I mean? Like, so that's going to be a driving factor too, for sure. And there's like parts of the downtown look pretty ghetto. I gotta say, it's not good. It'll come back, but they need something. They
See,
need
and
it.
that didn't really happen here. Like we lost the soul food, but internally, soul food closed, and it had nothing to do with COVID. She lost a couple cooks and whatever. There was some issues, but somebody else has already bought it, and they're turning it into a pub. We actually had several restaurants open
Wow.
during COVID. In fact, Delightful's opening now. We've had an Edo open in town. We've had a Bubble Hut open in town, which is bubble tea. These are new businesses that have opened in the last 18 months.
That's it. That's yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
Opposite
So it was
here.
like, we've got,
Mhm.
like I said, unfortunately, I'm not sure what the driving factor is.
More
And
people
Cranbrook's
eating
not.
out. Like, is it all like Uber Eats and that kind?
No, it's all restaurants. Like there are people
But
like, and now that you can go
okay.
in and like soul food, like what the city did was allow them to have decks, right? Have patios. And what they did is they shut down part of the street so they could have patios. So soul food had a patio. So when they were in lockdown, or when we were in say lockdown, they could do curbside. They all ran. They all kept their staff going, doing deliveries and everything else. Because instead of waiting on tables, they were sending their staff out to do deliveries rather than letting them go. Right, because they have small staff anyway. It's not like they've got like 300 staff. These restaurants probably have 12 people that work for them. So when you've got like 40 fucking deliveries to go, you can't give that to a delivery company with one guy and expect them to do 40 deliveries. All your food's going to be cold. So why not have, 12 people doing 3 deliveries and
Yeah.
keeping
Yeah.
everybody busy
Yeah.
working? Then everybody's happy because there's a
Yeah.
lot of demand,
For
a lot
sure.
of supply. Keep those
Mhm.
people busy running around. Keep those 3 people doing
Yeah.
4 deliveries
No,
an
good.
hour.
They created jobs. Yeah. No, that's good because.
So, and then when they were allowed to bring people back in, especially with the vaccine passport now, we went out for dinner for Taven's birthday the other night on Saturday. It
Mhm.
was Saturday night. And beforehand we had the Santa Claus parade here in town, which started at 5:30. So the kids and I got there about between 6 and 6:30, and we didn't have to wait in line. Because I'd called the day before, they wouldn't put a reservation, but it was kind of funny. They had a nice booth tucked away off to the side for us, like in the restaurant. It was kind of, oh, we got a booth right here for you. It was like right on, but they weren't like uber busy. There was probably that booth and one other table that I saw that was empty when we got there. The pub was pumping, the bar was full of people. You had to show your cue card, your vaccine, but that restaurant was full.
Yeah, I mean, I think some, clearly some are, succeeding because people are they're whatever use like Uber's a big business clearly, like, because people who have money, will make their lives easier, like especially during times like this. So yeah, some are definitely it's working, but a lot closed, definitely. Like they say
Yeah,
30% here are
yeah,
closed.
that's
That's a lot.
unfortunate. Yeah.
So a lot did close. Now some of the streets were looking, a little bit gnarly, dirty, before the pandemic. Some stretches of St. Catharines, but it just seems like a lot worse now. I don't, it seems
Yeah,
like
no.
more homeless people? Like, how did
We've
that
got a few more homeless people. But like I said, like we've like the blind pig. So like I said, we've had more businesses, to be fair, open. And people looking for self-employment, looking for office spaces. Like I've noticed an acupuncture place open too, the fire hall. They renovated that and opened that during
Hey,
like
it's 10 o'clock.
before COVID. I know.
It's gone by so fast once again.
It does.
It was off. It was.
Well, this is our, like I said, this
awesome.
is our last
It
show
was
before
awesome.
Christmas.
Like, you know, I like it. Like we can get a little, you know, intense with each other, but it's like it's all like in the end, it's all like peace and love, sister. Day.
Well, listen,
Love
this is our last show before the holiday, and we won't be back till after New Year's.
Yeah.
So I want to wish everybody happy holidays to whatever holiday, Christmas that you whatever that you celebrate, and a happy New Year, and yeah, Merry Christmas to
Stay
everybody,
high
I
and
guess.
dry. Okay.
All right.
See you in the new year.
Yeah. See you in the new year, everybody. Bye.
Bye.